from Tijuana, Mexico. I am right beside my native United States of America for the first time in a long time. I do expect the US to be, and in order to do so, I'll be crossing this bridge and then through a tunnel, which is, I guess I'm pointing anyway. I'm getting a little chatter in the background. But yeah, so for the first time in a long time, I expect to be entering the US today, just a matter of hours, maybe even minutes. So I don't know how long I can go on this stream, but I don't think I need to cut it off too short. It's been a very interesting nearly 3 months. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. It's been a very interesting nearly 3 months here in Latin America.
Or they're gonna move you, okay? The cops are coming. This is serious. You think it's a fucking game? I'm not playing. It's serious, bro.
Sorry about the interruption. Anyway, it's been a very interesting nearly 3 months here in Latin America. Now, I'm all right. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry, guys. Anyway, very interesting time for the past 3 months. Started out in Bogota, Colombia. Made my way around Colombia for the better part. No, I'm live streaming. No,
Since you're alright, do me a favor. Let me get a little bit of money, helping you out, and I'll let you do your thing. Hey.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, this is kind of the situation here on the border. So I think that interaction's over with. Tijuana is right behind me. Very nice setting at the moment. The sun's starting to set. You see the arch that's right in the city center or downtown here in Tijuana. There's a new town that's popping up in this direction, and then over in this direction is where you cross into San Isidro in the United States, right by San Diego. And here's more of Tijuana behind me. Right here, I'm not gonna get up close, but there are a bunch of people camped out here. Some of whom maybe it would be proper to describe them as migrants. I've already spoken with a couple people in this makeshift camp, or more like a homeless hangout right here behind me, and a couple people said that they were previously deported from the US, and it's a bit of a rough crowd here. A lot of drugs being used right over here, and maybe you get a picture of the set. So I'm not gonna intrude too much. I don't really want to intrude at all, but I'm getting the impression that it's a mixture of Mexican nationals and of, I guess, Central Americans, people from elsewhere in Latin America, most likely Central America. This isn't really comparable to the situation I was on down south on the Mexican-Guatemalan border, where I was conducting interviews. You've probably already gotten the impression that this isn't exactly a migrant shelter. The crowd here is a little rough. I'm not going to push it, but what I've heard from a couple people who I've spoken with here is that it's a mixture of people from Mexico and Central America, and quite possibly many of them have spent time in the US, have been deported. I haven't been able to do a whole lot of reporting around town here in Tijuana. Things are coming up, and I've got to rush back to the States. I've got some urgent matters to address back home on the other side of the border, not too far from here. But I have been wandering around town a little bit. Yeah, there are migrants in town, but there's really no visible sign of a migrant crisis I wouldn't say by any means that it seems like Tijuana is flooded with migrants at the moment. I was walking earlier today around what's called Zona Norte, which is down in this direction, or maybe even this part is also considered part of Zona Norte. It just means the north zone, the north zone of Tijuana. And what I understand, in the past, when the migrant crisis would pop up, there would be times in which Zona Norte was really flooded with migrants trying to enter the United States. And I was walking around a neighborhood that I saw from prior media reports and lots of photographs where there were, in the past, I guess as recently as 1 year ago, when it might have been when a caravan was coming from Central America to the U.S. But anyway, from what I saw in photos and media reports in this certain neighborhood back then, or various times in the past, had been flooded with migrants. I walked around there today, didn't see that at all. I know, yeah. I did not have the opportunity to go to a migrant house or shelter. There's I believe, a new migrant shelter, not right in the city center or in the Zona Norte. I didn't have a chance to go over there. Potentially, there's still lots of people arriving at the new shelter here. I don't know about that. When I was down at the Guatemalan-Mexican border, and I paid a visit, or several visits, to the Casa del Migrante, the migrant house down there, there were people frequently arriving from Central America, particularly from Honduras and El Salvador. And I can't really tell if that's the case here now, although if it's not the case, that might be very indicative of what I saw down at the Mexican-Guatemalan border, where Mexican National Guard troops are stationed and have a very large and visible presence. And just a few days before I arrived there, Mexican National Guard troops had been clashing and really teeing off on the migrant caravan that had just arrived. So was trying to make its way across Central America and Mexico and eventually get here, presumably, or elsewhere, and cross into the US. And given that that didn't really manifest, then that might be indicative of what you might call the success or failure. But I guess the success of the Mexican government's attempts to shut down transit across the country, and doing so by fortifying the Guatemalan border down there by the Rio Suchate, where I was stationed for a couple weeks. I haven't been doing so much on the ground. I really haven't been doing any on the ground reporting since then, although I have been in Mexico for the past month. It's not pointing your way. No. But you know, this is interesting. There are a lot of people. Oh, you can come on here if you want.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good. My name is Josh.
My name's Jose. Oh wow,
nice
that's
to
pretty
meet you.
bad. You going live? What is it? A documentary?
I am live.
A documentary about what?
I travel around the world and I make video reports.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I'm wrapping up a trip.
About how Tijuana is, the people. You know what? To tell you the truth, about 2 months ago. No, ¿quién? Oh, aquel vato. Oh, no, más pasé y acá. Oh, okay, que lo dejen paz.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, I'm just.
Brother,
I don't.
listen to me, dog. Please, just listen. Bro, seriously, dog.
This is.
Let me get like 50 or 100.
I don't have any left. All right. I don't have anything left. That it's gone.
You can't take it with you anyways.
Hey, that's all I have.
Really, bro?
Yes, that is. Okay, enough.
You know, listen,
Enough. Enough.
These guys are about to kick your ass. Right?
Okay, bye.
You're gonna get whooped right now. Watch.
All right, back to business. Sorry for the interruptions. Anyway, where did we leave off? I think the connection's gonna hold up. The connection cut out momentarily, but it shouldn't be. It should be all right. I'm still on my Mexican SIM card, and the internet hasn't been the greatest, but I have managed to stream, well, all the way at the far south of Mexico and now in the far north, so presumably it's gonna hold up. I missed, there was a comment or question that came in, and unfortunately I missed it, and I also missed the chance to have this impromptu interview that got interrupted, but I guess that's worth commenting on. A lot of English spoken here, and my impression is that a lot of well, granted, it's a border city and there are tourists here, but I'm running into a lot of people whom appear to have spent a significant amount of time in the US and may or may not have been deported. At least a couple of them have already told me that they have been deported, and I've been told that this camp that's set up, it's not really a camp, but what I was explaining earlier, how there are a lot of people here said to be various nationalities, but many of whom are Mexico, and said that many of them have been deported from the US. I can't verify that, but yeah, there's this crowd right here, kind of down and out by the border, and some of them do speak English, and I'm running into, it seems like more people here who have spent time in the US and may or may not have been deported who do speak English, whereas down at the Guatemalan Mexican border, for whatever reason, I was running into very, very, very few people who spoke any English, including people who had spent years in the US, a decade or more. I interviewed several people who had spent quite a few years in the US, and almost none of them spoke any English. The only one who spoke very good English, I would say, unfortunately he didn't go on camera, and he had a very interesting story and very interesting things to say. That was on my final night down in the Mexican side of the Mexican Guatemalan border. Before that, I was going around with my fixer interviewing people, and I still haven't published the vast majority of that footage, but I hope to get it out there. There's a lot of I'm really lagging on publishing a lot of footage from the Colombian Venezuelan border. Hopefully I'm going to be getting that out over the coming weeks, as well as footage from the Mexican Guatemalan border. Granted, I have already published footage from the...
Now, what happened is the problem for everybody, people that problem the police, that problem for you.
I'm not filming you. I'm just filming myself.
Well,
Look, it's just filming me. It's not filming you. It's not filming them. It's just filming me.
yeah, but one, you say, hey, my thing up. I don't know. You come on me and start to do.
I understand, but I'm just filming me. I'm not filming you. I'm not filming him. I'm not filming the...
Mira, flaco. Ven, güey.
Anyway, you're getting a live look at the situation here. Wouldn't call it a crisis, but things aren't looking so hot for the people living here, camped out here, whatever you want to call it. It's very much akin to the situation in a lot of cities involving homeless people. I'm not filming you. It's filming me. The camera is pointing at me. People are starting to think, what? Okay. I Thank you. So I'm getting, I don't know if you want to call those vague warnings or threats. I'm not going to stay out here forever, and I'm not going to try to provoke them, but at the same time, I am going to try to give you a look at the situation here. For those just tuning in, I am on the edge of Tijuana. Tijuana is basically right behind me. That arch is in the downtown. Over in this direction is the new city that's basically still under construction. And then over here is both the pedestrian and vehicle crossing back and forth between the US and Mexico. So as you can, and you can't really make out the border wall or fence, whatever you want to call it. Interesting setup here. I kind of wish I could spend more time in the city, and I'll be coming back here in the future, presumably. I don't know why it took me 30 years to arrive in Tijuana for the first time, given that I was born and raised in, and over the past 5 years I've been spending on various borders around the world. I guess it's only fitting that I finally came here. If anyone's got any comments or questions, please chime in. I missed the one when there was an interruption several minutes back. As I've been saying, I find it interesting how well English is being spoken among this crowd here. Maybe they could be described as migrants, maybe not, but it seems like a lot of the people here do have some ties. I mean, a lot of the people hanging out in this, effectively a homeless encampment right by the border, it seems like a lot of them have ties to the US, and I've heard from a couple people I've spoken with that a lot of them have been deported. I can't corroborate that, but it does seem like there are quite a few people here who have spent time in the US, and I guess that shows based on how well some of the people are speaking English as they come up to me and warn me or threaten me or ask for money and whatnot. All right, what direction is that? Maybe you can make out that I'm basically packed, and stay vigilant, Evan's saying. I'm basically packed and ready to move if I need to, but I'm really not under the impression that this is extremely dangerous. I'm not saying it to rag on the people here, but there's just a lot of drug use here, a lot. And all around this, I don't know what to call it, but here you see these vehicles that they're entering Mexico from the US, and all around this area there are, I guess I'll call them homeless people, albeit maybe some of them are also migrants and also deportees, but yeah, a lot of homeless people camped out around here, and just lots and lots of drug usage. Again, I'm not saying that to speak negatively about them. There are a lot of people here in very tough situations. One person I was speaking with said he was struck by a car, and that was a very serious accident. That was a very serious injury, and I'm sure there are many other people here who've been through many other hardships. But yeah, it's a bit of a rough crowd around here. I don't know what this guy's saying, but yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of drug use, hard drug use, right in front of my eyes around here. What to make of that? I don't know exactly. Tijuana itself, I've actually been enjoying. It's kind of a fun, quirky city center mixture of more traditional Mexican feel with expats and a lot of random I don't know quite how to describe them, but I'm running in. I haven't really spent enough time here to get a gauge for who all these people are, but I'm hearing a lot of English being spoken here, and I'm wondering if some of the Americans or the other people going around town aren't tourists and are actually living here. I'm not sure about that, but I kind of got that hunch from some people. So it's a bit of an eclectic crowd in the downtown, fun area. For that matter, I've enjoyed all my time in Mexico, and I think I've been convinced that I want to spend more time in Mexico in the future. I went up until 2 years ago. I'd never even entered Mexico, even though I grew up right next to Mexico. And then since then, or before this trip, I'd only been to Mexico City and Acapulco. But now I'm getting to see a lot more of the country. So I guess to rewind, I was in Ciudad Hidalgo on the Guatemalan border, on the Mexican side of the border, for 2 weeks. I was surveying the situation there after doing reporting on the Guatemalan side, and it was pretty calm, although there were, and I do have footage of it and I've published some, that there were Mexican National Guard carrying out checks constantly throughout the day of people crossing the river. Not everyone crossing the river, not even most people crossing the river, but some people. And then after 2 weeks there, I was on the way to the airport. That's kind of an interesting anecdote. So Guadalupe Hidalgo is in the Chiapas state or region, and I'm drawing a blank on Tapachula. That's the nearby city, and I didn't end up going into the city, but I flew out of the Tapachula airport, and Tapachula airport, I was in a taxi, and we ran into a check. I guess I'll call it a checkpoint, but it was basically just some federales parked on the side of the road, and kind of caught me off guard. They stopped our taxi, and they weren't interested in the taxi driver's papers. They're interested in my papers, even though I'm a very blatant gringo. And I guess my impression from that is that there are checks being carried out on roadways all around southern Mexico near the Guatemalan border, and I think that's how they catch, or at least the Mexican authorities try to catch the migrants who manage to sneak by the National Guard station on the border. Like I filmed head on a swivel. Yeah, I'm getting a little I'm not ready to take off quite yet, but if I get a few more of those guys coming at me, then I'll probably be taking off from here. But yeah, so it seems, all right, yeah, now they're really threatening me, so okay, I'll just get out of here. You guys have seen the setting. This is gonna get dangerous, just how they do it here in Tijuana. I probably shouldn't be walking through or right beside traffic while streaming, but let's see if I can manage this. Maybe the comments will be my eyes and ears. Anyway, so yeah, it seems like a lot of checks being carried out on roads in southern Mexico. So, for instance, I filmed, and that was a very risky maneuver. What I did, filming the group, possibly Haitian. I'm not positive, but most likely, or that's my best guess, that they were Haitian. And I published the video of people, of smugglers leading this group of migrants across the Suchate River from Guatemala into Mexico. And I was saying that was risky because I got threatened and my fixer got threatened. I don't know what happened to that group, but groups like that, even if they succeed in crossing the river at a location where there are no National Guard stationed, then it's still probably a challenge for them to make it up north and even out of the Chiapas area, because they're clearly checks and federal police and I think immigration officials as well, but I forget. But definitely Mexican authorities carrying out checks on roads down in southern Mexico. So what I saw down there might be quite indicative, and that might explain why it seems like there's a very, very subdued migrant situation here on the northern border, on the US border, which I presume is very much pleasing the White House, since it's widely presumed that the Mexican government changed its tune and started cracking down on migrants and sent the National Guard down to the Guatemalan border because they were threatened with tariffs by the White House. So I guess those are some of the geopolitics of what I was seeing down there on Mexico's southern border, and that might explain the situation here on the northern border. But with migrant flows, things can change in a hurry, and even though it's rather calm now, that doesn't necessarily mean it will stay that way. I need to somehow get to that bridge behind me. When I was being led around by a local around here, they're saying, oh yeah, you just walk through traffic. And I did some of that. I guess it's the norm, although I don't think it's very safe, and I don't think it's safe whatsoever to be doing that while streaming. But who knows, maybe if the traffic grinds to a halt, I'll be able to make it across. I guess on a tangent, there's a Calvary Chapel, Tijuana behind me. I recently did an episode of this broadcast at a Calvary Chapel in Barcelona. Same language spoken there, but much different setting. That was a fun episode. By the way, we got into Frogger don't. Yeah, I'll try to heed that warning. Does anyone have any, and by the way, can you hear me over this traffic? Anyone have any comments or questions? As you can see, this has been a very impromptu report. I would like to have done a bit more. Oh, audio's good. Thank you. I would like to have done a bit more scouting around town and conducting interviews and paying a visit to the migrant house. Z's asking, why are you there? Why am I in Tijuana, or this place specifically? If you haven't tuned in, or if you haven't been following as of late, I'm wrapping up a trip, or I'm wrapping up a Latin America trip. I decided to spend this winter in Latin America. I started in Colombia, made my way all the way up through Central America and Mexico, and the Latin America portion of this America's trip is coming to an end right now. I'm about to cross into my native state of California, where I expect to be for about a month, and actually some interesting things coming up there. But I do have some urgent matters to tend to. Oh, are you hitchhiking? No, I'm not hitchhiking. That could be an interesting way to get a feel for the border. I don't know if you mean on this trip in general or on this border crossing. My my plan right now is to eventually cross that bridge and then cross those other bridges that I was showing you in the background earlier, and they will lead me to, presumably, if I make it into the US, into the town of San Ysidro. Oh, it's loud. I don't know how you guys can still hear me. But yeah, so I'll cross there, and then if I arrive in San Ysidro in time, which should be like 2 or 3 hours from now, then I will have a bus tonight to take me to Los Angeles, which is my hometown. So that's my immediate plan. I wasn't hitchhiking to this point, no, if that was the question. It's been a mixture of flights and bus trips to this point. I have mostly been flying around Mexico, although I took a bus back and forth between Mexico City and Acapulco. If only you were a convincing American. I don't get that entirely. Be sure to tell the border guard that you're coming home for a whole lot of MAGA. That would be interesting if I could poll the border guards on their thoughts on Trump and how supportive or not they are of Trump. I don't have a good gauge, but if I were just to venture a guess, I think I would guess that the Border Patrol is rather supportive of Trump and his administration and his policies. I think they love Trump. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all, but I don't know. And just a joke on getting to the U.S. I'm very gringo looking, and I've got a U.S. passport, so that should help. Although I got a lot of interesting stamps on the passport as well. I hope I don't get too much of a questioning about that. I don't know if I even have a U.S. stamp in this current passport. I think I don't. I don't think I've ever been in the U.S. on this passport other than picking it up at a U.S. embassy abroad. Oh, I had a clearing, but I was advised Frogger don't, and that was. Oh, you're kidding about my looks. I mean, no doubt I'm gringo looking. My guess is they're probably not gonna question me too much. Have you ever spent the night in a Mexican jail? No, and I don't hope so. I don't want to. I heard from my fixer down at the Guatemalan border about his brief experience in Mexican jail, which we talked about in a live stream down there. That was, I guess, a month ago now. Yeah, if you're interested in what my fixer's experience was in Mexican jail, then you can watch that stream. The video's on my channel. I don't remember what we called it. Something like Fixer for American journalists allegedly beaten in Mexican jail, something like that. But no, I haven't spent any time in Mexican jails, nor do I want to. Can you live stream your Mexican border crossing into the U.S.? That would be fun. I don't think the border guards are gonna go for that though, and I don't really have any interest in egging them on. And then secondarily, I don't know what would happen with my internet connection, because at the moment I'm on a Mexican SIM, and usually what happens is right after you cross the border, if you stay really close to the border, at least from my experience, you can usually manage to keep a connection, although with live streams they don't work so well. But yeah, I need to change SIM cards when I cross into the US, at least when I get a little deeper into the US. I'm not going to do that. I was thinking of streaming my walk to the actual border crossing, which presumably I could do if I were to get through this traffic somehow. The reason why I started the stream where I did was because I thought that was a much more interesting and fitting place to think like a virus. What was I saying? Yeah, I thought that place near the crowd that basically ran me out of town, I thought that was a much more fitting place to stream, and hopefully people garnered something from that situation over there. I was putting myself at risk a bit, but actually some of that crowd seems to be walking along this route right now, but I'm not too concerned about them, and I'd like to think that you guys to some extent have my back. It's always nice to, when you're in a sketchy situation, to have somewhat of an audience being aware of where you're at and what you're doing. And I can recall past experiences when I really wish that was the case and it wasn't. So I gain a certain level of comfort from Z's saying run right now. I'd rather wait till the traffic completely piles up, which it has in the other direction. You see this guy. All right, maybe I'll just follow the leader, and when he crosses, I cross. That might be my new strategy. I probably, it's said nowadays in the internet and marketing world, document everything, document the process. I'm not so sure I should be documenting this process. I saw a couple of spots earlier, spots where I've got the camera pointed in the opposite direction of the road. So I guess the traffic you're seeing driving by, right by me, is the traffic coming in from the US. And then the traffic that's at more of a standstill is the traffic heading from Mexico to the US. So yeah, this is an interesting spot to be, but I don't get a whole lot of enjoyment out of the Frogger game aspect to it. By the way, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I announced this stream about a few minutes before I started, and I didn't even announce it on the YouTube community board. I just put out something on Facebook and Instagram, and I know that it's not a decent hour right now in Europe. Gracias, amigo. Oh. Okay. Frogger see, Frogger does. There we go. Now I might be able to stream my walk to the border crossing. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction, but I'll find that. Ooh. Did you make it to America yet? No, I did not make it to America yet, but I just got a notification that I'm down to 20% of my battery, so maybe I can manage to pull a charger out of my backpack and give this thing a little bit of a lift to get me to the border crossing. We'll see. Or maybe I've got enough battery to get there without digging into my backpack. But yeah, so here's the traffic. Now on my side, it's the traffic heading to, or are they heading to the US? They might just be heading into town. I'm not positive. But here's the bridge I need to get on. And I think there's stairs. America's my dream one day. Or one day having some connection issues now. Sometimes when I walk around a lot while I'm streaming, that that creates an issue, but hopefully the connection will hold up at least a little bit longer. All right. Looks like I'm getting very close to finding my way onto this bridge. Bit of a strange feeling, actually. It's costumes and badges don't like being on video. It might slow you down. Well, I don't think I'm gonna stream the border crossing. Like I said, it's maybe some people have done that and gotten away with it, but all right, here we go. United States in English. Doesn't even say Estados Unidos. How welcome I feel. Which direction? Ramp or stairs? Let's take the stairs. This is kind of fun, actually. Finding my way into my own country, where it's been another serious leg injury. Looks like I just walked by. I don't think that appeared on camera. Oh, here you go. You got a closer look at the arch in downtown Tijuana. I think it's really beautiful here at sunset. I took a photo last night that I posted. Like I said, I'd be glad to spend more time in Tijuana. This is a better vantage point. A bit of the Tijuana downtown. It's in the center of Tijuana are very touristy. They don't really look like what you just saw. All right. Where are the caravans? Not here. But as you can see, there is some foot traffic. The bridge has been mobbed, and today is not one of them. All right, so here you see the vehicle bridge. Intermittent connectivity issues. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know how well it's gonna hold up. It might not hold up much longer, but you want to see me nice sunset. You want to see me cross, and I'm gonna try to go as far as I can and see if this live stream holds up, and if my battery holds up, and hopefully if the battery does not hold up, then I can get a little charge. So right down there is that crowd that just effectively ran me out of town. Evan's saying it's good now. Glad to hear that. And then you get another look at the Tijuana New Town. Haven't spent any time there. It says Future Medical Plaza on that black building I'm pointing at right now. Okay, maybe you can make out a bit of the border fence. Do you see? It's too hard for me to point at it, but there's a brown fence that looks tiny in the backdrop here, but it's very pronounced when you're driving around or walking around the northern edge of Tijuana. Very noticeable. Also right by the airport. The airport's off in that direction, east of here. The beach is this direction, west of here. And there's a street that runs right along the border fence where people are driving on the Mexican side, and went on a couple Uber rides on that street. At one point I did see what they call La Migra, which I think what we would refer to as ICE, as Border Patrol on the US side of the fence. Now we're really nearing I think we're really nearing the border crossing. So let's see what I stumble into. Beautiful backdrop. Sun setting back on the Mexican side. And again, Tijuana New Town over here. Although alright, here we go. This traffic is coming in from the US, I believe. Yeah, this is the border crossing right behind me. Policia. post right here. I don't know if I'm gonna get stopped for filming, but we'll see if I can keep going. And the connection hasn't given way. I can see. This is fun. All right, little gate that I'm gonna cross through, and pretty soon, I'm guessing, I'm gonna start running into some authorities. Oh wow, where? Okay, so U.S. flag, Mexican flag. Nacimos en América, somos americanos. I think it's saying that we're all Americans. No quiero tequila. No quiero cerveza. Gracias. Mucho gusto tacos, pero I've already eaten a lot of tacos today. Now where do I head? Just follow the MAGA. Well, where exactly is the MAGA? I guess I'm following the herd is what I'm doing. Alright, down into the darker tunnel we go. And lost ya. Hopefully the connection is holding up. Oh, now I'm confused. Sorry, it says USA. ¿Dónde está la MAGA? I think the question around here is not ¿Dónde está la MAGA? The question is ¿Dónde está la migra? But looks like the USA is in this direction, so let's head to the USA. Or why does this say? This says Tijuana. No, to USA. Why not enter America? Why not? It's been almost 3 years. I think it's been almost. Now I'm down to 10%. Interesting little square here. It feels like a town square, but I'm on a border, or am I? Which direction is the U.S.? Am I going in the right direction? Here's some sort of gate that I'm coming up on. Looks like I'm heading this way, I think, but I'm ad-libbing at this point. I see people walking through this gate. Okay, you're in now, run. It doesn't work that way. I mean, I guess it works for some people, but that's not my plan of attack. And I don't think I'm in yet. Don't I need a stamp out of Mexico? This is interesting. Where exactly am I? I am not sure. No, gracias. Your battery. Oh yeah, I am about to lose my battery. Let's see if I can. When you're heading north, the sun is to your left. Let's see if I can rescue my battery. Sometimes I have trouble with this device, but maybe it will work. Let's see. All right, power bank. Here we go. Competing with some music. Yeah, I'm trying not change my battery. I'm just trying to plug in. I don't know. I am plugged in now, but I don't know if it's charging. I guess we'll just find out based on whether or not the phone shuts off and the broadcast ends. The moss grows on the north side of the tree. Oh, here we go. Here's a sign. To USA. I guess I'll follow that sign. Why not go to the USA? It's been long enough. That too. All right, let's see if I can find my way to the USA, and let's see if there's life in this phone battery. Hostel, California. Oh, I had seen that place online, and I was actually thinking about staying there. Copyright strike, I wrote that song. Actually, I've gotten hit with a few of those lately. A couple weeks ago, I got hit with 2 copyright, I don't know if they considered strikes or what. But yeah, I got hit with 2 copyright claims, I think they're called, over just some little music that pops up in the background of interviews I'm doing or reporting I'm doing. Now I'm confused. Where's the US? There it's telling me Mexico. But I want, in this case, America. Even though there's a lot to love. There's a lot to love about Mexico. Especially there's some lax enforcement of traffic rules here, which I don't particularly mind, and arguably I've been abusing or putting myself at risk because of. Alright, I think I found the salida, which means I think I found the place where you exit Mexico. So here it says Mexico and Tijuana. And salida right here. But no one's walking through the salida. I guess everyone's being motioned to go in this direction. So maybe the non-salida will lead me to Los Estados Unidos. Let's see. And if it is leading me there, I think I'm gonna have to call off this broadcast because I don't want to show up the border officers. Speaking of which, there's a soldier or National Guard. I'm not sure what he is. You're not seeing him, but I'm looking up at him. And okay, Puerto Fronterizo El Chaparral. So yeah, pedestrian access to USA. I guess I'm in the right place. Buen viaje. They're wishing me a nice trip. Nothing doing here. Can just walk through to this point. I could take US dollars out of this ATM, but I'm sure it's nothing but a ripoff on whatever fee I would have to pay. Or fees, plural. It's kind of a fun setup. Some switchbacks. I feel like I'm on a nice evening hike at sunset under the watchful eye of a Mexican soldier, I believe, who again you don't see, but I do, and he might not be too keen about me filming this. So I think we're getting very close to the point where this broadcast ends, and maybe this is the most exciting point in the broadcast for you. I don't know. Maybe you preferred the part when some of the people. I'd be wearing a sombrero. I was gifted a certain hat, but it's not a sombrero. Actually, it's a knockoff of a MAGA hat. Here we go. I'll give you guys a look in case I need to end the broadcast now. But yeah, people are walking through this tunnel right here, or this walkway. You see where I crossed. And there's Tijuana in the back. And this Mexican soldier, or whoever he is, he might stop me when I walk up to this walkway right now. And I see we're coming right up upon an hour in this broadcast. It's probably a fitting time to cut it off anyway, but who knows, maybe I can make it past this point. Yeah, I guess he's not on the lookout for people entering the U.S. Well, I shouldn't say what he's on or not on the lookout for. Anyway, I just walked right by him. Here we go through the tunnel. Connection appears to be holding up. Battery, I can't tell if it's charging, but the phone hasn't died yet, so at least for now the battery's holding up. If you got any last comments or questions, smile for the camera so Trump knows you're friendly. All right, why not? I don't know if Trump's watching, but oh, here's a nice little peek out at. Ooh, I didn't angle the camera so well. Scenic here, USA, Mexico in the other direction. Salida, I don't want. Presumably I want an entrada, but I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing Público General. Wow, this is quite a long walkway ahead. All right, I guess the stream lives on. No tirar or basura. I think that means don't throw trash or don't litter, something like that. Yeah, the stream lives on for a little longer. Will we make it to 1 hour? I don't know, but we shall find out. We're now coming up on 58 minutes. Keep saying Público General. I'm thinking, do you have GPS? Well, on the phone, yeah, but I'm streaming on the phone, so I don't have access to the GPS. I'm in the YouTube. I'm streaming in the YouTube app. And that's basically all I have access to at the moment on my phone, at least. This has been exciting. Very, very impromptu stream. Didn't know what was gonna come up. I was warned before I started about filming in the area where there was that rough crowd, and to some extent it was necessary for me to heed that warning. And I walked through traffic. Probably should have heeded the Frogger warning, but then again, if I hadn't, you guys wouldn't be getting to see this, which actually there's really no action in this tunnel or walkway, whatever you want to call it. Oh, there's immigration office in there, but I don't really want to be thrusting the camera on the wall. I presume that's an area that's off limits for filming. Smells like, I was about to say it smells like some food around here. Maybe it's this horchata or whatever drink is right next to the fire extinguisher. No, I don't think it's that. Maybe there's an evening taco stench that blows from Tijuana into the US. I don't know. Doesn't smell great, but doesn't smell too bad either. The sun still hasn't gone down. Seems like the sun, it seems like we have permanent dusk this evening, and it makes for a very nice backdrop and setting to this little border crossing. It also reassures me a little bit that I think I'm on pace to make it across in time to catch the bus. Actually, could someone say in the chat what time it is right now? That would be much appreciated. What time it is? Sorry, West Coast time, West Coast U.S. time. The connection might be buffering a little bit, but it looks like it's holding up. Yeah, we've now passed an hour. We've passed the hour mark on this, almost 9 p.m. Eastern, so it's almost 6 p.m. where I'm at, which is perfectly fine for me, so long as I don't get